The Universal Declaration of Human Rights recognizes the right to adequate housing as an important component of the right to adequate standards of living. The Kenya government, through the Ministry of Housing, has continued to facilitate the provision of decent and adequate housing through direct implementation of various projects, as well as provision of certain specific incentives to the industry. The achievement of this goal will contribute to the realization of housing agenda as propagated by the Constitution of Kenya 2010 and Vision 2030.
What the Constitution crystallized more as relating to the policy is the economic and social rights that are associated to housing. And of course access to housing, good environment, living environment. So that has been dovetailed into the Constitution, or rather into the policy, and we are now reviewing the policy to properly align. Still with that, the government was actually well on the way to facilitating housing, and from the housing policy, a number of programs, a number of institutions were established to implement the policy.
The Civil Servants Housing Scheme Fund was established in 2004. The establishment of the fund is in line with the National Housing Policy. The policy, among other things, called for facilitation of employers to assist their employees to acquire housing.
We started the slum upgrading program. Later on, we created a department within the ministry which is responsible for informal settlements and slum upgrading. We started a department responsible for providing infrastructure in housing areas. We sort of crystallized the role of our maintenance units, which will improve the state of the living environment by ensuring the good maintenance standards. We are in the process of drafting the legislative framework at various levels. One, to put in place standards, building standards and the standards of maintenance in the sector. And we are also in the process of establishing a National Housing Authority, which will also oversee the sector as in a coordinated way.
The projects are located in various parts of Nairobi and have targeted the various income groups in civil service. Some of the completed projects are located in Kilimani, Kileleshwa, Jogoo Road, Shaurimoyo and Ngara.
The initial capital, which was obtained from selling a stock of government houses which the government had by the year 2003, and the houses were categorized into those which could actually be sold to civil servants and those the government needed to still hold. And over 2,000 housing units were sold to civil servants at that time.
Since inception, the scheme has facilitated more than 3,000 civil servants to access housing. This has been achieved through housing finance loans or sale of houses constructed through the scheme.
The mode of provision of the mortgage is in two frame. You can, the fund as a development wing, or rather project development wing, which actually goes out to develop houses on land already owned by the scheme or owned by the government. After the houses are completed, they are sold to civil servants on a competitive basis, or rather in an open way where the applications are invited and evaluated on the basis of certain criteria and allocated. And then we also have a loan scheme where we allow the civil servant to identify the houses they want to buy, or actually take up the money, the loan, and build their own house if they have the land. And that is where the fund actually meets significantly the demand from civil servants from time to time.
Hapa nikiwa kwa hii mji tuko na kama miaka miwili hivi nimekaa hapa. Tuliama kutoka kwingine tukaja hapa, na ningependa kutoa shukrani kubwa kwa serikali hasa yale imetufanyia kama wakaaji. Mbeleni tulikuwa na nyumba ambayo sikuwa standard ya mwananchi kukaa. Through the Ministry of Housing, they came together wakasema ya kwamba lazima tu improve status ya officers wa serikali ili wawe na raha kukaa. We really appreciate. We are so grateful.
We've been here since June 2008. This is the first house to be ready. We are in, it's called in Emerald Court. Hilo jina tumepeana sisi wenyewe in Kileleshwa. It's the first group of houses or flats that were ready, zile civil servants. Kwa hivyo tungesema tumeenjoy the facilities the longest in Kileleshwa. As a civil servant, I had never thought of owning a property, let alone in Kileleshwa. So we are proud to be flat owners in such a beautiful environment like Kileleshwa. And it's accessible from every side. We are near the road, transport is easy. We have a police station nearby. The facilities are available.
The Ngara housing project marks another milestone in the government's initiative to provide adequate housing for its employees. The project is an urban renewal and regeneration project which involved clearing of old buildings with no historical value and development of new buildings for efficient use of space.
Our Ngara civil servants housing project is the largest single housing project undertaken by government in a long time. On the piece of land, we had 74 houses. Out of that piece, which was, you would note that it was grossly underutilized. And we have now put up 656 housing units, together with a small shopping facility for the residents, which includes also an early child development center. It is targeting civil servants in the low and medium income category. We also have within this project rental units. We would like to retain 90 units for rental, purposely to be accommodating those staff whom we have to move in areas that we want to redevelop in the next phase. We are also experimenting on a high-rise housing development where we have 2 towers of 10 floors of residential apartments. Phase 1 costed us 300 million shillings. Phase 2 has costed us 1.7 billion shillings. So it's a 2 billion shilling project. And we have just completed it. And all of them, again, we have allocated them to civil servants who are going to purchase under the tenant purchase scheme, which is administered by the Civil Servants Housing Scheme Fund.
The Civil Servant Housing Scheme has proposed to start other housing projects in Mombasa, Kisumu and Nyeri counties.
With more resources into the fund, which we are negotiating with government to ensure that it is fully funded, we would be working with private sector partners to get them to also turn out schemes that we can buy on a turnkey pre-arranged program where they can finance the construction, they provide the land, they finance the construction, and we under our entire purchase program where the fund would purchase and pass them this on to civil servants.
The government through the ministry is indeed committed to adequate and quality housing for all Kenyans and will endeavour to continually improve on addressing some of the challenges of urbanization.
The government of Kenya takes this as a great example to other employers to develop synergies that will actually empower their employees while they are still working for them. What we have found in government is that there is a great motivation that this housing process can give the employer. It also ensures that the retention rate for your staff is much more enhanced, and then there is an incentive on it.
This is a great honor let the government of Kenya proceed taking care of the civil servants. It is a great honor for people with the lower grade to be recognized by the government of Kenya. This is well done for this great scheme of work. We thank you very much for it.